Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Yuba College, Clear Lake Campus, Cultural and History Presentation, sponsored by HASA, Human Services Student Association, and CLASS, our student body government on campus. My name is Randall Cole.
Otherwise yours.
I am your student MC for today, for this history-making event. I also serve as the Communications Director for the Human Services Student Association on campus. I don't want it to seem like I'm blowing my horn, but I am also the CEO for CTF, the Cold Chain Transformation Foundation, which is made up by students and other members of the community. If you hear your name, please stand. Kim Cole, Angela Kessler, Jacqueline Pruitt, Kathleen Lindsay, Mallory Grant, William Pale, Kim Cox. That's just a few of us who's working in the community to make this community a better place. As a matter of fact, the CTF is teaming up with the Lake County Clear Lake Community Youth Center, and we'll be hosting an event titled Dance with Your Kids on April 25th. So I hope that everyone just come out and dance with their kids on that day. Again, I'd like to welcome you to our Yuba College campus, Historical Black History Presentation, Black History, No Mystery. Before we get started, I would like to give thanks to my family, my wife, Kim Cole, that's my right arm, my daughter, Angela Cole, Natalie Poole Grant, Nakia Grant. These are just a few of my family members. And these are the members who give me strength and empower me by their family presence. My family is a big part of my Black history. Yuba College is a big part of my Black history. So I would like to give thanks to my professors, those who work in the administration office. I'd like to give thanks to Pamela, Berniso, Valerie, Natasha, Lynette, Carol Swanson, my peer counselor, Christina, some of my professors, Peggy Alexander, Michael Friel, Deborah Johnson. I have two professors that's on my first 5 list, and that's Doug Harris and Sister Harris. I also would like to give thanks to this campus for filling the gaps in my life with a good education. I'm very grateful. I'm honored to be standing here today. I'd like to give thanks to my peer students who are on campus with me. Thank you for your presence here and your support. It displays our unity in education and change. So I thank you. Last but not least, I would like to give thanks to our community for all you guys showing up. What a beautiful picture that is. I want you to look around you. What a beautiful picture this is in here for Black history. So, thank you for coming and sharing this special historical event and presentation with us. You're not here by chance. We're gathered in this building because a call for change has went out, which could be heard from the peaks of the mountain. Your presence here today is a good indication that change is here and that we are that change. Now let's give ourselves a round of applause for our presence and our participation in this change. I would like to move out of the room. I would ask for a little participation here. On a college campus, participation could be 30% of your grade. So at this time, I'd like you to turn to your left and introduce yourself to the person that's sitting next to you.
Zoom back
Very nice to meet you. Hey, there's Terry.
Oh no, don't put me on.
You got in it, honey.
Remember, participation is to be 30% of your grade on campus. So I thank you for participating and give yourself another round of applause. Now we can open the prayer and open this ceremony with Thomas Leon Brown, the Tribal Administrative Cultural Director for the Elam Indian Colony. So please give him a warm hand as he makes his way up.
Stama Iwipti. Good morning, my Pomo language. Uyuk Ayan. My name is Machucha, they call me. My government name is Thomas Leon Brown. I'm very honored to be asked to come here today to do opening prayer. I do opening prayer now that so that everyone can understand basically the things that I'm saying. So what I do is I start off by saying the words in my language and then interpret it in English. And so as I go through the prayer, you hear me saying it in my language and then interpret it in English. Again, as we look at today, it's a very special day in all of our lives, in Black history. The many things that Black people have done for our country and for things of changes, for righteous things, for indigenous people, many things that were done over the years. I myself have, as a Native American, some of you may know the history, we were taken here from Lake County back in the early 50s, and our whole family of 11 members were dropped down on 98th Avenue in Oakland, California, so that we could assimilate into the modern society of ways in the United States. Gladly they ended that federal program because it didn't work, and we came back home here to Lake County. So again, I'm honored to be here. I'd like to ask for those who could to please stand while I begin this prayer. Thank you. O Botanic Ipche, O great-grandfather, Weya, our Hintels and Mafo Kimitso, bless our native people and all other people today. Weya, our Isaac and Imix, to Eolas Dekawis. Bless our mothers and fathers to take care of their babies. Weya, our Ipches and Kotos, to be Olaf and Walka. Bless our grandmothers and grandfathers to be taken care and to be well. Weya, a Kutskamitzel. Bless everyone here today and not here. I'm going to do a blessing song. You may sit down on this one. It is a sit-down song that our tribe does at events before we get into our program or our ceremonies when we go out. This is a song from my father, the late Jim Brown II, who passed away in 1982. Henway-o, 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 Henway, Kakune, Henway-o, Kakune, Henway-o, 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 Kakune, Henway-o, 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 way-o, and way-o, and way-o, and way-o, Kakune, and way-o, Kakune, and way-o, and way-o, and way-o, and way-o. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Thomas. If you're wondering why I would have the Indian culture open up the Black History presentation with a prayer, I'm glad you asked. Most people would assume that when they see me that I'm all Afro-American. But the truth be known that my grandmother is full-blooded Choctaw Indian. So American Indian is part of my Black history. Next, I would like to welcome our musical presenters, Bill Bardiso, Doug and Sister Harris. Please give them a round of applause.
So in this part, participation is 100%. You're great. We're going to do 2 songs now and 2 songs later, but they're all sing-alongs. So if you know the songs, and most of you will, sing with us.
As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Sisters, oh sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh sisters, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Brothers, oh brothers, let's go down, come on down. Come on brothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Fathers, oh fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh fathers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Mothers, oh mothers, let's go down, don't you want to come down? Come on mothers, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Sinners, oh sinners, let's go down, come on down. Oh sinners, let's go down in the river to pray. As I went down in the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Woo!
You all got an accent now, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, you gotta sing louder. You gotta sing louder.
You will get another chance.
We need the karaoke
About
machine.
why we chose the songs that we chose today. And this first song, a lot of you probably know it more from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou and Alison Krauss. But it actually was published for the first time in 1867 in a book called Slave Songs of the United States, and it was written by an African-American slave. And it was coded lyrics that had to do with how to get away from the South and into the North. Down in the river was you went through the river because the bounty hunter dogs couldn't smell you if you were in the water. And the Starry Crown referred to the stars that navigated your way home. And Good Lord, Show Me the Way was the way to the Underground Railroad. Cool. The next song that we're going to do is also another traditional African-American folk song that was adopted by activists in the 30s and was used a lot during the Civil Rights Movement in the 60s. So if you were alive in the 60s, sing along. And it won't take you long to figure out the words. They're very simple. It's amazing. We had a week and a half to get this together, so
we wait till the last minute to practice.
Okay, take it back.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our freedom. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our children. We shall not be moved. We're fighting for our children. We shall not be moved, just like a tree that's planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Black and white together, we shall not be moved. Black and white together, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water, we shall not be moved. Young and old together, we shall not be moved. Young and old together, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water, we shall not be moved. When my burden's heavy, we shall not be moved. Come on, everyone. When my burden's heavy, we shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree that's planted by the water, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved.
You play video games. This, it can be a little sticky, so just edge it slowly.
You know, sometimes our life is like a portrait. People you meet are a portrait in your life. And today, you're in my portrait, and you're part of my Black history. So I thank you very much for that. Now, our next presenter hails from within our own borders of Clear Lake, Lake County. I've had the opportunity to hear her speak on a number of occasions. She's very powerful. So without any further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Denise Johnson.
Hello. Hello. I think in Swahili it's Jamba.
Jamba.
When Randall sent me a Facebook message, he asked me to speak about Black history. And I don't have any problem with that.
And move this one back. It's blocking her face.
Yeah, go that way.
That backward, that's way better.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. Good eye.
Sorry about that. Having technical difficulties. When he asked me to speak about Black history, I just sat there and I began to think and think. Because I know a lot about Black history. Okay? But first of all, I have a problem with the word black. Okay? Because as you can see, I don't look like a crayon. Okay? We come in all different shades. We come there. I've got some people in my family that are very high yellow with green eyes. You know, I mean, we just come in all shades. So I said, well, you know what, I'm going to have to just step back a little. And I'm very proud of the history that my people have, that has come forth in this country, that we fought for, that we have died for. And I wish it would stop. I wish we wouldn't have to die any longer. But that ugly head of racism still stretches its neck, and it's still killing. So what I decided was, I'm going to take you back a little further. I'm going to take you back because we didn't come here when we were taken as a people. We were not taken as slaves. We were a people with a rich history. We built Timbuktu, universities long before Europe had even heard about universities. They were there, sitting in Mali, and that place still stands there. A lot of that history was erased during the Renaissance or the Middle Ages. A lot of it was erased. Portraits were torn down. Did you ever wonder why Shop, the lion that sits on the pyramid, why the nose is gone? Because that little guy came, remember the general? Napoleon Bonaparte came and had them chopped off to take away the ethnicity of the person. To take away the ethnicity. Now, I want to lighten it up a little bit because I see you're getting nervous. And I don't want you to be nervous. I want you to be perfectly comfortable with me because we are one. We really are. We are one. We're going to live together as one, or we're all going to die. Right. As one. That's the bottom line. We cannot live without each other. We're all well, you know what I mean. Well, not interlinked, but
Interconnected.
connected. So I'd like to find something first for you. In fact, I need the computer man up here. I would like to have a little music to lighten us up, a little African music to loosen us up. Because I can always find a reason to dance. No matter how old I get, I can always, and I'm up there, y'all. I'm up there now. I'm not a kid anymore. But I can always find a reason to dance. And sometimes, you know, we look at that and we say, well, you know, why black folks always dance? You know, what's a part of our history? The dance. We dance for all kinds of reasons. First, let me bring to your attention something that you may not know. I have a Peters World Atlas, okay? And I had to bring things into perspective when I started studying about stuff I never learned in school. And the Peters World is a map that we don't use. Have anybody ever heard of that? Raise your hand. The Peters? The Peters, okay. One guy, two guys. All right, two guys. We use different. Now, I studied in 1975 the MacArthur map. It was a little Australian guy was in school and he drew this map. And that's a commercial coming out. He drew this map and he put Australia at the top of the map because he was Australian. And he wanted Australia to look big. Because we all want to look big, don't we? Sure. Don't we? We all want to be somebody. Okay? So when he took it to the teacher, the map was upside down. It was inverted. And the teacher told him, if you don't straighten this out, you're going to get an F. Okay? Well, that's the map in 1975 schools started using. Well, the whole world was topsy-turvy. It was inverted. Okay? This map, the Peters map, is very little known. That's why we only had 2 people raise their hand. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the Peters map. The Peters map tells the true dimensions of Africa. Now, I always thought Africa was a little bitty country. Okay? Well, maybe the size of South America. You know, but certainly not bigger than other countries in the world. And the Peters, here's the Peters map here. Now, here's the Mercator map. This is the one they use. And you see how tiny Africa is? It's smaller than Greenland. See that white? Mm-hmm. It's smaller than Greenland. Okay, I want you to come up here. You big man. Now, if you take this big man, and come here, baby. Come here. And you stand next to him. And you take, okay, now who would you be more afraid of? Well, you see, and it's funny, it really is, but that was the intention of turning the maps upside down. Because Africa was a rich, very rich place. And I'm going to talk about Mansa Musa and all his money. He had more money than Bill Gates. All right? Timbuktu was a very rich, Mali was a very rich place. People came from Timbuktu, from all over the world to study in Timbuktu. There were scholars studying, what you study here, physics and geometry, and well, honey, they were studying that way back. Timbuktu was built in 1100. All this stuff was going on in Africa, in this huge country. I want somebody to come up here. If you look up here, I want you to tell me the countries that will fit inside. Can you come here, baby? You get some braids. Can you tell me the countries that will fit over inside of Africa?
The United States, China.
Point to them.
United States, China, India, Eastern Europe, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, Portugal. India.
India.
No, yeah, the UK.
You know what? I never knew this until I studied. You know, now what is a continent? A continent. A continent is a large body of land, right? And if you're not a continent, you're what? A country, right? So all of these countries can fit inside Africa. Africa is enormous. My goodness. I mean, that just blew my mind. I mean, you couldn't even travel one day and get across. 2 days you can get it, well, 3 days. But how many days? It took us 4 days to get
4 days.
from Virginia here.
4 days.
Get across the United States, basically. You couldn't do that. That's how big the country is. And if you go to page 39, somebody find page 39, you baby, find page 39. And go to 49, or page 36, and you'll see how immense the countries fit inside of Africa. Chad is a country. It fits inside. Egypt is a country. It's a part of northern Africa. And yes, the Middle East is a part of northern Africa. Until they built that strait through there, baby, that was all connected. It was all, didn't I tell you we was all connected? Didn't I tell you that? All these countries were connected to this one mass of humanity, this one body that was full of gold and diamonds and gold and gold and gold. How many people wish we had some gold today? Don't we need some gold? Amen? Okay.
Take a little bit of space between the top of the camera.
Now, let's have some music. Let's have some music. And she's one of the famous songstresses from Africa. Turn it up right here in the back. Oh, come on, I want some dancing here now. Come on. Come on, don't you want to dance? Come on, don't be afraid. I don't bite. Okay. Can you get a little bit louder? From this country. Yeah. Yes, you got it going on here. Mine that went down. Some of the music that comes from Africa. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. That was supposed to be at the beginning of my speech. First, let me tell you the story. Turn it down a little bit. The story of the lion. And this is one reason why our history is so adulterated, and so many of black people don't know this, honey. So don't feel bad if you don't know it. Don't. You know, we don't know it. Right. Teachers. You know, if they know it, they don't teach it. And if they did, they probably lose their job. So, I'm going to tell you a story right now, the story of the lion. There was a little African boy, and he went to his father. And his father used to teach him all the time. And he taught him about how strong the lion was, how smart the lion was, how proud the lion was. And so as he grew strong from hearing these stories. And he grew proud from hearing these stories. And when he grew up, he went to the United States, or America, and he went to school there. And when the teacher got up to teach, she taught how weak the lion is, and how susceptible to other animals the lion was. And this young man now, he got confused. This really threw him off. And he said, when he got home to talk to his dad, he ran to his dad and he said, "Father, I went to America and they taught me that the lion was small and the lion was weak. Why did they teach me that?" And the father told him, he said, "Son, it's simple. The lion never wrote his own story. His story had always been written for him. And until the lion writes his own story, he will always be subjected to something that he's not. Black people are strong. We are a resilient people. Read this history of the slaves. Only a strong people could have gotten through that. Through the transatlantic passage, the middle passage, the crossing, which is a nautical term of the crossing from Africa to America. The transatlantic passage. It took a strong people. It took a strong people to get through the 60s and the 50s. I'm just telling you the truth. Don't get mad at me. Don't hate me for it. Realize that I'm telling you the truth. And when we study it, I'm almost through. I know. I understand. Before I sit down, I'd like to point out to you some of the places in history, like the history of Ghana, the Ghanaian Empire, where they went into a forest and they dug out the forest, cleared the forest, where they found gold. It was so much gold in Ghana, it was ridiculous. And that's the picture down here. And Ghana was an empire for many years. The history of Mali here. Those are some of the buildings. That's a mosque that was built in the 13th century in Ghana. In Mali, okay? And here up here we have Mansa Musa. I told you I was going to tell you about Mansa Musa. Now, Mansa Musa was something else. Mansa Musa was a very rich man. They say that Mansa Musa had 400 billion. I almost said ducats, but you know what I'm talking about. 400 billion. He was worth $400 billion in dollars today. There's nobody on earth that has that. Bill Gates don't have that much money. Okay, he has about a fourth of that. Okay, Mansa Musa left Mali and he had a big caravan of people that crossed the desert and they went to Timbuktu and they took 13 tons of gold with them. He had 500 staff bearers, and some people call them slaves. Okay, but yes, they did have slaves. But let me explain to you the difference between slavery then and slavery in the 17th century. You see, you could marry, you could accumulate wealth, you could keep your own children, have your own children, and you could even marry into nobility. Okay, it had nothing to do with hatred or making a man smaller than he is, or taking someone's humanity, as did chattel slavery in the United States of America. So he did all this wealth. He passed by Egypt. He went to Egypt. And he took all this, and as he was going, he was giving folks gold. I ain't got nothing to give you today now. But he was giving people gold. And the economy in Cairo fell because the gold, there was so much gold. Here, how many people have ever heard of Mansa Musa in here? Never. Google it if you got it. You heard it? Okay, 2 people. We're doing good today. All right. Four, right, that's 4. 2 or the other one I asked, whatever that was. And, all right, 4. That's good. But Google, and you'll find out about it, because his history was hidden. This is Queen Matuba. She was born in 1563. And yes, that's gold sitting up on her head with a golden pin. Okay? This is a Khan queen. Now this queen is modern day. And yes, those are gold flakes in her face. Gold ornaments in her hair. Rich history. Rich history. To close, I'd like to say, we can find all kinds of reasons that we think in our minds, because sometimes we're not really straight on the way things are. Sometimes our perspectives are messed up by what we learn, what we hear, what we watch, who we're around. what we see on the internet, then we can dig into each other's history and realize that people are one. Yes, we are the oldest people on earth. That's historic. Yes, we are. They found Lucy in Ethiopia, the oldest bones. You know, so that gives us even more reason to get together and to be as one, to love one another, to learn of one another, not to make up stuff. You know, I mean, I've had my fill of pain, but it's time that we stop seeking to give pain, because I tell you, united we stand, or divided we all will perish. God bless you this morning.
Thank you very, very much. I told you that when you're on a college campus, participation can be 30% of the grade. That's the truth. Our next presenter has been an active participant on the battlefield of civil rights for over 37 years. He's my teammate on the battlefield. Lake County NAACP, Rick Mayo.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? All righty. Denise Johnson has always been a hard act to follow, so, and she's always been very good with her renditions of what occurred in our history. Today, I would like to reflect on a little bit about the past and more about the present. The NAACP was founded on February the 12th, 1909 in New York City. Some of its founding members were Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, Henry Moskowitz, Ida Wells Barnett, Mary Overton, Oswald Garrison Ballard, William English Walding, James Weldon Johnson, Rosa Parks, Thurgood Marshall, Roy Wilkins, Carter G. Woodson, Martin Luther King Jr., Medgar Evers, Mary Lee Evers Williams, and Charles H. Houston. Now, the NAACP is the nation's oldest and largest and most widely recognized grassroots-based civil rights organization in the world. Remember Selma, the button. Bloody Sunday, 1965. Now Congressman John Lewis and others put their lives on the line to give all of us the right to vote. The use of our power of the ballot box is the way we effect change. I'm going to give you a little bit of history about the Lake County NAACP. Organized in 1981, Lake County, California NAACP, Rick Mayo founder, Clarence Wright Sr., Gilbert Paul Gray, A.C. Marks, and co-founders, Bessie Bell, Sarah Wright, Alice Gray, and Ruby Marks. Local chapter was chartered in May of 1982 with more than 50 members from all different walks of life and cultures. Local chapter was formed due to the blatant racial bigotry, employment, age, housing, discrimination, terrorist acts, police brutality issues throughout Lake County. Chapter President Rick Mayo and officials from the California-Hawaii State Conference in San Francisco began to addressing minority citizens' complaints throughout the county and city communities. Meetings were held with educators, government officials, law enforcement officials to address the many racial barriers and to seek corrective actions. Branch officials throughout this history have experienced personal harassments, intimidations, and threats of violence. We shall overcome someday. Milestone achievements remove educational barriers which adversely affected minority children in our local school districts throughout the county, such as hazing, Slave Day, Spirit Week. Bulletin issues were addressed. Minority citizen complaints regarding hate crimes, cross movements, bomb threats, racial tagging, bias issues. We met with the U.S. Department of Justice and law enforcement agencies to address these concerns. Housing discrimination barriers addressed through the State Department of Housing and Local Government. In 2007, over a period of 8 months of communications with local law enforcement, an agreement was made to design and implement a pamphlet which both address citizens' complaints and accommodation procedures, which is in existence today. We monitor the jail inmate realignment program, which has been very successful. Inmates acquiring high school diplomas, parenting and learning and employment skills as re-entering society is very productive. The branch has provided scholarships to local students in entering college as well as special education donations, and we continue doing that today. We have continued to acknowledge community members who have provided leadership and provided support to our community in many different ways. And I have characterized these people as Lake County's sheroes and its heroes. One dream can change the world. In conclusion, some people have asked, is the NAACP still relevant today? And when will the NAACP go away? Here is my answer. The NAACP will go away when hate-mongering, gender bias, religious discrimination, age, education, housing, transportation, open accommodations, economic disparities, and violations of ADA no longer exist. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Randall Cole for becoming one of Lake County's eagles who has stretched his wings far and wide to help others while he has helped himself. He truly epitomizes the old saying by Booker T. Washington, quote, he pulled himself up by his own bootstraps. Thank you very much.
Bill, Doug, and Sissa.
The next song we're going to sing, we're going to just do one more, and this was written in 1965 by Curtis Mayfield. So Rolling Stone has called it the 24th best song of all times, and for those of you of a certain generation, you'll know the song. And please sing with us. When they get ready, we'll start. I'm ready.
People get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. So people get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and board them. Hope for all among those live the most. I believe, I do believe, I believe, I do believe. There ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who would hurt all mankind just to save his own. Have pity on those whose chances grow thinner. There's no hiding place against the kingdom's throne. Everybody, I believe, I do believe, I believe, I do believe, I believe, I do believe, I believe, I do believe. So people get ready, there's a train a-coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. I believe, I do believe, I believe, I do believe, I believe, I do believe. Everybody, I believe, I do believe.
Well, that sounded great. Give them another round of applause. Our next speaker hails from within our own borders. She is a local author, and her work will remain in your hearts long after you've gone from here today. Please put your hands together for Dolores Davis.
I'm always happy when Randall asked me to recite a poem for him. But I just found out in this session that we might be relatives. My grandmother was a Choctaw.
Wow.
So we gotta talk about it.
Yeah. Wow.
My poem today is about Martin Luther King, a man whose name is synonymous with civil rights. I lived in New York, and I had a chance to go to a session that he spoke at one time. He's a dynamic speaker. And I was really fired up when I came out. So I'm going to talk about today the man with a dream. Many of us were born in the South, below the Mason-Dixon line, where racial tensions and hate were always on our mind. We'd heard of the words freedom and equality, but they were something we merely dreamed of. We knew that all our blessings came from the Lord above. Then came Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the man with a dream. He wasn't just an ordinary man, he was one of God's greatest creations, who knew that segregation in this country was separating the nation. When asked if he would join the protest, he answered, "When do we begin?" For he too was tired and weary and only too happy to join in. He organized a march on the Capitol to confront the lawmakers of the nation, to see what could be done about this terrible situation. The president listened and offered an open mind. He'd never encountered an individual so determined, so forceful, yet so kind. So began the civil rights movement of the 60s. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man of impeccable character, a husband, a father, a minister, a man who knew right from wrong, a born leader of his people. He fought many battles. He lost his freedom on many occasions. Yet his spirit and belief in God helped change the laws of the nation. He met a violent end to his life, but others have taken his place to continue the movement started so that his life was not a waste. The battle is far from over, and many others have become involved and pledged to continue the battle until this situation is resolved. We all know that progress is slow and change is hard to come by, but hopefully the demands of the people will be heard and granted, and no one else will have to die. Then we can be proud of being children of America under one nation, one God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank God for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his dream. I guess I'm about the oldest person in here. 85 this year.
Oh, wow.
I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, I know a lot of you say, oh, well, St. Louis is in the South. But believe me, baby, it was the South. So I have firsthand knowledge of a lot of the things that we went through as younger women. Not riding on the back of the streetcar or having to get up to give someone else your seat, sitting in the balcony of the movie theaters if you could get in at all. I'm so glad to live to see the changes in America. A black president, all the things that we can do now that we couldn't do when I was a kid. And I tell my children, which my children are 64 and 59. They're still children to me. I tell them that you've got it good. Stay with your race. Do the things that you're supposed to do. Forgive the people that have done us wrong, because now the children nowadays are doing so much wrong. It's terrible. So you really have to talk to your children and just try to live together. We all should try to live together, love each other, and just be part of America. We are all Americans.
Amen.
Mr. Doris Davis. Let's give her another hand. Now we're at this part of the program where I'm under the microphone. Under the microphone glass. I'm supposed to be a communicator. Supposed to be able to communicate to you. Whether it's verbal, whether it's body language, whether it's written. Supposed to be able to communicate to you. If I can't communicate to you, I haven't done my job today. Black history, no mystery. We can agree that slavery took place. Black history ain't no mystery. Now, civil rights, racism, discrimination are all on different pages of black history. We need to put civil rights, slavery, black history, racism, and discrimination in the right perspective, on the right side of the spiritual fence. There's only two sides to the spiritual fence of life. One is negative, one is positive. Fence of life. If I drew a line down the center of the room, and I put negativity over here, and I put positivity over here, and I said anger, which side would it go on? Over there. If I say love, it goes over there. If I say peace, over there. Joyce, over there. Rape, over there. Molestation, over there. It's easy. It's easy to put things in the right perspective. If I say discrimination, what side would it go on? On that side. You cannot take discrimination and put it over here with love, peace, hope, and joy. They don't fit. If you can make it fit, show me. I want to see it. Because it don't fit. Now, on June 21st, 1964, there were 3 civil rights workers who were murdered that dark day. One was 21-year-old Mississippian James Chaney. But let's not only recognize James Chaney, there were 2 white lives lost that day. 20-year-old Andrew Goodman and 24-year-old Michael Swerner. Both were born and raised in New York City. They had been registering voters in Mississippi during the Freedom Summer and had gone to investigate the burning of a black church. They were arrested on trumped-up charges, in prison for several hours, and then released into the dark hands of the Ku Klux Klan, who beat them and murdered them. They died on the battlefield of civil rights, and their death will be forever linked to black history. Well, how about Reverend James Reed, who was a white Unitarian Universalist minister who worked with poor people in Boston? He answered the call to Dr. Martin Luther King for the clergy to come to Selma, Alabama, to protest the violence that was being done by troopers against civil rights marchers. On March 9th, 1965, Reed and 2 other white Unitarian ministers, Reverend Olaf Miller and Reverend Clark Olson were walking back after dinner to a meeting led by Dr. King when they were attacked by a group of white men. One hit Reverend Reed in the head with a club. The blow was fatal. Reverend Reed died March 11, 1965, and his death is forever linked to black history. Let me mention Eleanor Roosevelt, who was pivotal, a pivotal champion during the civil rights movement, who often leveraged her high-profile political platform to expand opportunities for Afro-Americans, notably coming to the aid of Marian Anderson after she had been barred from performing in a racially segregated concert hall. How about Marion Cohen? She was a Jewish civil rights activist who served as an active member with the Students' Nonviolence Coordinating Committee. During the 60s, she would, along with other students, toured the South, working on civil rights projects that included voter education and registration. What about Viola Liso, one of 1,000 of whites who joined the civil rights movement and came of age during the era of the nation's greatest social, intellectual, political discontent and renewal. Many whites went to the South and helped protest. Viola, when she protested, she carried her shoes in her hands. When she walked with other activists in civil rights, she carried her shoes in her hands. She hated wearing shoes. Viola walked barefooted whenever she could. Viola was a mother of 5. She was compelled by her spirit within her to fight for equal rights, equality for all. After a long day of protesting, darkness was approaching. Viola was tired, exhilarated though, as she continued to shuttle local marchers back to their home. A few minutes into the last trip, a car with Ku Klux Klan's members tried to run off the road. After several attempts, they pulled up on side of Viola Rousseau and shot her in the head. At 39 years old, she died instantly. When her body was removed from the car that she was in, she was still barefooted. Viola's death will be forever linked to black history. Black history, no mystery. What about the other whites that was on the battlefield of civil rights? Marlon Brando, who was an activist supporting many causes of notable the Afro-American civil rights and the Indian movement. What about James Baldwin, Charleston Heston? What about the 9 women of the freedom movement who worked on the battlefield of civil rights? And their name were Constance Curry, Joan C. Browning, Dorothy Lawson Burgess, Penny Patch, Teresa Darrell Poso, Sue Thrasher, Elaine Gillette Baker, Emily Schrader Adams, and Cassidy Hayden. These 9 women, along with thousands of others, made our country a better place. How about John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, who were major players in civil rights? How about the Rockefeller family and their foundation, who founded and funded the first black women's college in the United States of America? In the 60s, there was over 60 million whites who took place in the civil rights movement. Now I want you to focus on the spiritual call that had gone out over the land and had reached the ears of those who were on the battlefield of civil rights. When we reflect on their commitment and their participation, we can reflect on their commitment and their participation. And we can see that they had it right back then. We can set the bar and have it right now and in the future. Us, Clear Lake. Us, Middletown. Us, Lakeport. Us, Lucerne. What's all the separation about? We're in this together. We can set the bar right now for the future. We can do this by choosing to live our life on the right side of the spiritual fence. Now I want to give you an analogy to compare racism and discrimination to. How many people have a computer at home? Show of hands, please. How many people have heard the term computer virus? Show of hands, please. How many people have heard the term hacker? How many people have heard the term CPU, Central Processing Unit? That is the brain of the computer. Now, your central nervous system, your CNS, is your brain and your spinal cord. Now, when your computer gets a virus, you are no longer in control of your computer. The virus works its way through your computer system. Don't do racism. Don't do discrimination. You need to know that when you do, your system has spiritually been hacked. And there's something dark working within you. Your system has become contaminated with a spiritual virus and it's serving something dark. Don't do racism. Don't do discrimination. Discrimination is a oil spill, a fallout that'll touch America and its people. However, discrimination is a spiritual virus, and if you engage in it, your system has been hacked by something dark. Don't do discrimination. Don't do racism. It's been too long, and it's time to clean up our hearts. It's time to clean up our minds. It's time to clean up our shores. We are gathered here today in a place of higher learning, so we are responsible for elevating the people by introducing new mindset. Our presence here today is not by chance. You were called to take part in his historical transformation. We are responsible for changing tomorrow. We, us, is responsible for carrying the light forward and handing the torch to the young hands of tomorrow. We, us, are responsible for passing that torch to the young hands so that the young hands of tomorrow can follow in our footsteps. It is an important task. So, when we do this, the young hands of tomorrow can tell what the lamplighters, us, have been. They can tell what the lamplighter, us, have been by the trail that lamplighters have left behind. If we have the knowledge, it is our responsibility to let others light their candle in it. Please stand. Now I want you to turn around to the person behind you. Shake their hand and introduce yourself.
Class. Yeah, right.
I would like you guys, for your class participation, for participating in this program, for refusing to do racism, for refusing to do discrimination. Sticks in a bundle are hard to break. One stick, you snap it. People working together, you can't break us. We don't have to do what other cities and other states are doing. We don't have to do that. We don't have to kill every time we see someone. We don't have to be mad at our police officers like they are in other countries. No, we're going to do Lake County. We're not going to do what they're doing in New York. We're not going to do what they're doing in Oakland. We're going to do Lake County. And on that note, I want all you guys to give yourself a standing ovation. Thank you for being here today. Thank you. And do me a favor, keep your eyes and your ears open for the event that's coming. Dance with your children. Come on and let's dance with our children. Thank you very much for coming to the conference.
Of course.